Welcome back, it's Smashboss here, and in this video I wanna discuss 5 different one-screen puzzles and basically showcase all of these levels. All of them are made by me, and after the video you can vote for your 3 favorite puzzles, and in a week, that means next Saturday, I will look in the comments of this video and I'll count all the votes for each puzzle, and then I will submit the top 3 levels in Carl Sagan's One Screen Anything Discord. So let's get started with the first puzzle. The first puzzle is a Super Mario Bros. 1 one-screen puzzle, and it takes place in the subworld of the level. I had to design it like this because of the ending trick that I will explain later. So first of all, what I did here was to activate this block, because this is the only chance where I could release the content. And then I used the other block to knock the giant mushroom that was hidden in the question block up to the top, so it can go down here in this area. Now, as Giant Mario, I can simply run into a power block in order to activate it. Once I'm in this area, I still need to break this block. In this puzzle, every block that hides something is marked with a track, and that block hides a Buzzy Beetle, that block up here. Then I need to go through the door. On the next time the room loads, the Buzzy Beetle spawns, and once it's in the air, I can run into the power block so that the munchers are killed, but the Buzzy Beetle isn't killed. It may look tricky, but it's actually not that hard to time. Then, this is the trickiest part of the puzzle, I guess. You have to duck jump into this wall, destroy these blocks, and then turn the Buzzy Beetle around. Then you need to kick him in order to activate the bomb. You can now collect all the red coins in one go. So right here, if you would have destroyed this block before you went through the green door, then there would already be a cannon that blocks your path. Also, this block right here also hides a cannon. So you need to collect all of the red coins in one go without reloading the room. And then you're basically already done. You could go in the pipe now and finish the level. However, there is one big ending troll, and that is actually going through this pipe as Giant Mario. Because for whatever reason I figured out that if the pipe on the other side is directly next to the goal and you come out of it as Giant Mario, for some reason you cannot exit the pipe, but instead you get pushed back into the pipe. And once you do that, as you can see, there's technically nothing that blocks the pipe, and on the way back you just die because the space that you go into is too small for Giant Mario. And that's also the reason why you need this block still to be there, because otherwise a cannon would also spawn right here, and this cannon would then block the Buzzy Beetle from walking down here where you need it to get Small Mario once again. So right now I did everything correctly, and the Buzzy Beetle will now walk in the right position where I can jump into it in order to get Small Mario once again. Then I can safely enter the pipe and finish the level. But before I do that, I quickly want to discuss my opinion on this puzzle. So the positive parts, I think, is that first of all it's a Super Mario Bros. 1 puzzle, which is already rare, you don't see a lot of them. And the second thing I like about this puzzle is of course that there's an ending troll. And what I maybe don't like about this puzzle is that it's pretty short, it's not that much stuff to do. And maybe someone may think that this Buzzy Beetle part is a little bit tricky to first duck jump, then jump over the Buzzy Beetle and hit the blocks and all that stuff. I think it's okay, but the opinions might be different on that one. So this is the first one-screen puzzle. Also, once you end it, there's another troll, since this is not actually the exit castle, but a block right there. So this next puzzle is a Super Mario Bros. 3 puzzle, and it's actually one of my older puzzles that I've also presented in a older video, I guess. But it's still one of my favorite puzzles. In the first step you need to activate the P-switch and then grab all the coins that you can already get. With the second P-switch, then this is where basically the main puzzle starts. So the biggest problem is that you need to kill this thwomp. And then the issue with that is that the thwomp is in the air, so you cannot simply hit this power block right here. And there is no way to get to the power block fast enough to hit it like that. So what you need is something that you can put under the thwomp, so that it is basically on ground. You could try to do it with a P-switch, but the P-switch would get activated immediately under the thwomp, so that's the wrong option. And what you need is the content of this music block, which is another power block. So then, how can you release the content of this music block? First of all, you already cleared this coin right here. So then something would have to go along this path in order to hit the music note from above. And in top of this question block there's a mushroom, which would technically do that, but if you release it, it will just end up in this area right here and get stuck. So what you need to do first is use the P-switch and throw it in this gap right here. So now once you release the mushroom, it goes to the P-switch and goes the other direction, because the P-switch is blocking it from going into that spot. Now you have a power block, so technically you could just use this power block to destroy the thwomp, since you can drag it and take it where you want. However, there's one problem, and that is the spiny all the way at the end. And in order to kill that spiny, you need to have a power block in your hands and throw it against the spiny. But as I said before, you can just put the power block there without activating it, and then the thwomp counts as grounded. So now when you hit this power block, the thwomp will die. In the next step you want to get the P-switch back, which is not possible from down here. So you would have to go up there, and you can already take the spring and then put it right there, so you can go up there. The only problem is the spring will block your way and there's no way back. So on the next step you want to grab the mushroom and then use it to get the bomb that is all the way over there, and then use the bomb to break the block that had the mushroom in it. And now, as you can see, there's a way back out, and you can use that way to get out of this area with the P-switch. But there's still some stuff to do, so now you have to re-grab the spring and throw it through the two bumpers that are right here, so it falls all the way down into this gap. And then once the spring is there, you can release the bomb in this block. The spring will bounce it in the right position to destroy all the blocks that block the exit. And then you just need to activate the P-switch, go through here, collect all the coins, and then in older levels it was still possible to finish a level like this, where the exit is blocked by solid ground if you jump from down below. So that's the second puzzle. The third puzzle that I have is a Super Mario World puzzle, and it shows many different ways to use a P-switch in a puzzle level. So first of all, you have to activate it right here, go back to get another P-switch, and then go through the P-switch door with the P-switch. You can now use it as ground to go back in with the power block. And now you have a power block in this area. Now you once again need to hit the P-switch, go through the door to reset the P-switch. Then you need to release the spiny helmet out of this block. The next step is a little bit tricky, but it's not too hard. First of all, in order to get enough space, you need to push the helmet all the way to the muncher with a power block. And then you need to throw the power block, and while you do that you need to change the direction and grab the helmet before the power block explodes. This might look pretty hard, but it's actually not that difficult. Now you have the spiny helmet, so you could theoretically break this block, but you need it later, so you have to keep it. Then the problem with this coin is you need to somehow get the coin. However, if you throw the spiny helmet up there, there's no way to get it back, since it will land on top of this area with a P-switch door, and you still need it to break the other ice block right there to get the other coin. If you break this ice block first by putting the spiny helmet on as a helmet, then there's no way to throw it up there anymore. But luckily, since we have the P-switch, we can use the P-switch to block the spiny helmet from going all the way to the top. Then we can easily avoid hitting this block by duck jumping up here. Now we can get the last red coin that is visible, and the other one, I tried to mark it with the arrows, is behind the saw. So now we once again need the power block. So we just need to repeat all the steps that we did in the beginning. That means hitting the P-switch right here, and then quickly going through the P-switch door with the P-switch. It doesn't matter on which way, on the way to the P-switch door or on the way back. We do this, but then we can use the spiny helmet to get through the door and get the last coin. Now once we're here, we can put the power block under the door, since we have to go through the door holding the P-switch, because otherwise it will block us when we spawn at this side of the door. So now we are down here in the final part of the level with a P-switch, and we can throw it into this block, which releases a bomb, and this bomb activates the power block, at least if the ice block under the power block is still there. That's why we need to keep the ice block all the time. So that's the third puzzle. So this next puzzle is also a Super Mario World puzzle, and originally I called this one my hardest one-screen puzzle, and that's because of the amount of steps that you have to do and also of the difficulty of the single steps. First of all, you release the content of this music block, and the problem with this is you could theoretically jump up there, but then you would put the helmet on, and you don't want to do that yet. Now what you need to do is you need to throw the P-switch in here, so the P-switch will hit the music note once again, and that will knock the helmet one block to the left where you can then grab it. This next jump is a little tricky and can take a while, but you need to go up here without ducking since you would put the helmet on otherwise. Now if you throw the helmet outside of the screen, you can grab a red coin that is in the corner on the left. Then you need to release the P-switch while standing all the way to the left of the screen, and then quickly release down, since if you're still holding down while the helmet gets pushed into your hands, you will also put it on, which is not what you want yet. Then you need to put the helmet underneath the POW and throw the P-switch in there, and then the POW will just barely be high enough to be grabbed. Now once you have the POW, you can place it right there and get this red coin easily. Also, you can use it to get a spring out of this area and also get the POW block back out of this area. The next part is a little bit tricky again, but there are a few things that you can do to line it up better. Because now what you need to do is to get the spring in this area to push the POW block up there. You can position it directly where you want it if you throw it while you jump up. And then you need to put the POW block on top of the spring so it will land there as a bridge to cross the saw. Then you need to take the P-switch and put it in there so that you can get the spring but also the P-switch back out of that situation. And then you need to throw the spring in this area. This next part is probably the trickiest of the whole puzzle. From here you need to throw the P-switch, and what this will do is it will go all the way down here and then land under the muncher and get activated. And in that time you need to grab the helmet and clear the first coin so you can pass through the area at the top right there. So right now, if I release the P-switch, I need to get rid of this coin, and then while the P-switch is active I need to get both items over there. Now I can kick the helmet down there and it's in a safe position for now. Then I can run across the gap with a spring. And then this is already kind of the end of the puzzle. You can throw the shell into the red coin right there. You don't need to put the helmet on. Then you can also throw it against the sideways spring to clear the POW block and the munchers. And now there's one final trick. First of all, if you jump on the spring, you will end up in the area with the sideways spring up there and get stuck. But there's one trick that you can use, and that is if you jump on the spring, then release the jump button and then change the direction right in the yellow area where you want to go or slightly below it. It will cancel Mario's jump and he will stop at the exact height where we need him. Then you need to put the helmet on to get into the key door, and as you remember, once the room was loaded the first time, a P-switch automatically got activated, and that's exactly what happens now again, so you don't need to worry about these two blocks right here. And also, before I finish this puzzle, I quickly want to tell you my opinion on it. I guess it's definitely one of the most complicated puzzles that I've ever made. But the problem with it is that it may also be pretty tricky to execute all the steps, not only to figure them out. And that was the fourth puzzle. Now there's only one puzzle left. And finally, the last puzzle is also a Super Mario Bros. 3 puzzle, like the second one was. It also has a lot of steps that you have to do, but these steps are not that hard to execute if you compare it to the Super Mario World puzzle I just showcased. So first of all, once you have the P-switch, you could use it to knock the piranha plant out of the way, but that would cause it to fall down here and block a path that we need later. So what you actually want to do is also use a similar trick than in the last puzzle to get the Shelmet out of the trap. Now once you have the Shelmet, you can use it to kill both piranha plants, this one right here and also the one on top. You need to do this because the Shelmet also collects the first red coin and there's no way to collect it otherwise. That wouldn't get you trapped. So now you have to P-switch, and if you activate it, the power block right here will fall down. You have to get this coin, and you have to avoid getting this coin because you need it as ground when you go through the key door. Also, you need to hold this power when you go through the key door, or otherwise the key door will be blocked on the other side. But first you need to put the power down here, cross the gap and then grab the spring. With this spring you can now release the mushroom that is in this question block. And that's also the reason why we needed to kill the piranha plant, because otherwise it would not block our path here, so we couldn't get the mushroom. Now once we have the mushroom, we want to go up here and grab the Shelmet, which is only possible as Big Mario without getting trapped. And now we are Big Mario with the Shelmet. The only problem is that we actually don't want to be Big Mario anymore. So the only way to lose Big Mario before losing the Shelmet is to get crushed by something. If I would just tramp against the Muncher, for example, I would lose the Shelmet instead of the mushroom. So what I want to do is I want to get crushed on this block and then use the invisible frames to get the power block back. Now we can use the Shelmet in order to kill this Muncher. And the thing is, I could now activate this power block and have another power block, but the problem is I need this power block in order to go through the door. So first I have to do this, and what this does is that I can now run under the Muncher and kill it without activating the power block. So this is the power block that I need later, and this is the one that I can now activate. Now I can grab the other red coin that was right here, and also the last red coin if I use the power block to get the spring back. I can then put the spring in this gap and get the last red coin. Now I have the right power block in my hands and I can go to the key door and finish the level. So these are all the 5 one-screen puzzles. Also you need the power block in the end to kill the Muncher. And now I will pin a comment on this video, and only if you respond to that comment, this counts as a vote. So I will pin this comment, and all the responses to this comment should be votes. You can simply vote by writing the number of the puzzle in the order in that I presented them. So if you would like to have this one submitted, then you could write 5, or as I told you before, you can vote for up to 3 puzzles at the same time, and in the end I will count all the votes and submit the top 3 puzzles to Carl Sagan's Discord. That's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed the video.